Who is your favorite comic book character? Batman? Joker? Captain America? Spider-Man? Me? Spawn? Superman? Batman? Wolverine? That chick with the poison? Human rhinoceros? Male Helen Keller? It's Batman. Let's face it, he's the best. Today, comic book movies have become so popular, even my girlfriend is asking me to go see the movies with me. I guess, honey. But if the movies are such a hit, what about the games? I'm Spencer with the Itch Network, and let's list the top 10 best comic book games of all time. Number 10. Batman: Arkham Knight. He is the best comic book character of all time. Remember when we established that earlier? Anywho, it's only fitting that he starts out this list, and it sure as hell isn't the last time we'll see the Caped Crusader. Featuring an open world with tons of classic Batman villains, fast and fluid combat, and awesome detective components, this game has a lot going for it. It even lets you use the Batmobile. A lot. Maybe too much. Okay, question. If Batman doesn't kill, why did he equip the Batmobile with machine guns? Did he know he'd be fighting cars that were specifically manned only by robots? Is he worried at all that he might miss a shot and kill someone? Okay, I'm nitpicking here. This really is a great game. It's graphically stunning and starts this list off with a bang. Starts it off with a bang. Number 9. Marvel vs. Capcom 2. What do comic book characters do? They fight. So it only seems natural that they would see each other in a fighting video game, duking it out for supremacy with characters from Capcom. Wait, what? Yeah, you get to see your favorite Marvel characters fight Chun-Li, Mega Man, Morgan, Jill Valentine, Ryu, M. Bison, and many more. Wow! It originally released to arcades in the year 2000, where it received universal praise, then later found its way to consoles in several re-releases. This series is known for its excellent gameplay and fun team-based combat, where you can combine characters to string huge combos. It arguably put the fighting game scene on the map with the legendary Justin Wong vs. Daigo fight, and thus, it makes the list. Number 8. The Walking Dead Season 1. Zombies? Comic books? I debated with the guys about the difference between comic books and graphic novels, and the consensus is that graphic novels are longer and more complex, and that they are nerds, and I'm too busy getting laid to give a shit. So here it is, The Walking Dead Season 1. Telltale's games really hit its stride here with a story-based adventure game featuring the mythos of the Walking Dead series, but using a new cast of characters. You play as Lee Everett, and through a series of events, you end up meeting a young girl named Clementine. The two of you go on an adventure filled with zombies and crazy people and some truly difficult choices. This series almost single-handedly revitalized the adventure game genre, and spawned a ton of games in the same vein, both made by Telltale Games, The Wolf Among Us, Borderlands, the upcoming Batman game, and made by others, Life is Strange and King's Quest. Good for you, Telltale. You proved once and for all that people don't actually want gameplay in video games. Just kidding, but not really. Number 7. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game. This game is just great. Real talk, when I was maybe 10 years old, I visited family that at the time we saw every 3 years or so in Chicago. I remember that they had this game, and upon arriving at their house, my brother and I said our brief hellos, then went straight into their basement and played it. For 5 hours. Aside from being a total shithead as a kid, I knew that this game was awesome. It's a multiplayer beat-em-up featuring the cast of the Ninja Turtles. That's right. Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, Michelangelo, Shredder, Rat, Megan Fox, Cowboy Bebop, Rocksteady. Hey, they made Batman, and all of them show up in this classic gem. It all started on the arcade and later went on to the NES, and it will forever be a classic in the beat-em-up genre. Number 6. X-Men. X-Men is a side-scrolling action game where you can play as either Gambit, Nightcrawler, Wolverine, or Cyclops. The game takes place in the Danger Room, I'm not kidding, a training environment in the X-Mansion. Things go awry, as they are wont to do, and the heroes have to fight their way out. The game has multiplayer and even has cameos from other popular characters. Furthermore, this is a pretty hard game, so if you like hard games and mutants, this might be the game for you. Number 5. Injustice: Gods Among Us. Remember when I said comic books made for great fighting games? See this game. Injustice is a DC game, so Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, etc., where the Joker succeeds in killing millions and Superman blows his top and kills the Joker. Superman and Batman go on to have struggles against one another in their separate ideals, but another dimension is discovered where the Joker's plan failed. Confusing plotline, go! There are twists, turns, mistaken identities, heroes you deserve, and more in this fighting game that doesn't really need a plot but does. With top-of-the-line graphics and tons of fan service for comic book geeks, this game from the Mortal Kombat creators is still played today and deserves its place on the list. Number 4, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4: Turtles in Time. The heroes in the half shell are back, and this time, they travel through time. Okay, this is clearly what happens when you have no idea what to do with an IP, and this is doubly true for comic books. But honestly, if it gives us a chance to play a beat 'em up with the Turtles again, I'm all for it. All of the old arcade content returns. You play as any of the 4 titular Turtles as they battle Shredder and his cronies through various eras, both past and future. It was even released on the PS3 and Xbox 360 as Turtles in Time Reshelled by Ubisoft, giving newer gamers an opportunity to play this Konami classic. Number 3, Marvel Ultimate Alliance. This game has everything going for it. Action RPG, multiplayer, Marvel characters, okay, not that. Great graphics for the time, fan service. You play as one of over 20 Marvel characters as they take on the Masters of Evil. Okay, as a person that doesn't read comics, who names themselves the Masters of Evil? Endran. And travel to a myriad of famous locales. The game features over 140 characters, so even if your favorite isn't playable per se, he or she probably appears in the game in some form or fashion. There is also a Game Boy Advance version, but next. Number 2, XMen Legends 2: Rise of Apocalypse. From the makers of the previously mentioned Marvel Ultimate Alliance comes this gem. Released for primarily the GameCube, PS2, and Xbox, this game featured all of your favorite X-Men, minus Skin, Marrow, and Maggot. Where's that game? In a multiplayer RPG where you can level up and enhance your abilities, and take it to your enemies Diablo style. The X-Men and Brotherhood unite to save Professor X and Polaris, and end up continuing the alliance as they take on Apocalypse. The plot is as crazy as any in this list, but it's cool to be able to play as the villain side in the game for once. For the record, Storm is my girl. The game was quite well received, with the only criticisms being its repetitive nature and at times underwhelming graphics. But to most, it's a really fun action RPG that you play with your friends. Number 1, Batman: Arkham Asylum. It begins with Batman and ends with Batman. This is the first entry in the Batman series by Rocksteady, and it's arguably the best. After capturing the Joker, the Dark Knight escorts him to the asylum, only to spring a trap. The rest of the game revolves around Batman maneuvering through the crazy house and beating down a bunch of the top villains of the series, including Bane, a super sexy Harley Quinn, and Killer Croc. This was a very adult game, and essentially reimagined the third-person action game with its tight camera and unique battle system, both of which are still used to this day. As a personal note, this is one of my favorite games of the last generation, and I think the lack of an open world actually helped this game, as it kept up the paranoia and that feeling of being trapped. This game is getting a re-release in July, so make sure to check it out in HD if you haven't already.
Hey, thanks for watching. Be sure to give this video a like and comment below. Check us out on twitch.tv/thisistheitch and theitchnetwork.com, where you can check out links to our podcast and our friends at Does This Game Suck? If you have any questions or topics for us, email us at theshow@theitchnetwork.com. And don't forget, we do new videos every week.